seat. And you can rest your hands in your lap. I'm so glad that you're here and you're taking good care of yourselves to be here. Good work. You can let your attention come into your yoga practice and try to have a sense that what it takes to arrive here is actually not so many simple things. What it takes to arrive here is actually a series of important and sometimes complex things. Scheduling, logistics, intuition, listening to your body, putting all of that together, having the technology, giving yourself the time, maintaining a dedication to yourself and to your community. Those might each seem simple, but when you look at them neurologically, if we've been feeling overwhelmed by fight, flight, freeze, or submit, to make a decision to be here, you had to overcome those neurological hardwirings. And so I want you to acknowledge you have done it, you are here. And if today was a day when you're arriving simply, then also acknowledge that the pattern, the routine, the felt sense of this is normalized in your life, and how beautiful that is. And notice what happens for you, like energetically, but also mentally, when you are acknowledging the effort it takes to be here. And then bring your posture into alignment as you best know how to do, where you can sense a quality of heart, a quality of mind, a felt sense for your body and your breath. Some of you might want to have a sense that your hips become more grounded. For others, a sense that the spine becomes more upright. Some need both of those things. Some of you might benefit from sitting slightly more in the back hemisphere of your body. And some from encouraging a slightly greater lift to the heart. And then welcome your breathing to go down to the lower abdomen for your inhale, and to gently widen both laterally into the rib cage and circumferentially front and back. And for your exhale to start at the base of your pelvis and to roll up the deep low belly towards your solar plexus. And then please bring your hands together at your heart. And as we acknowledge coming together for practice, we'll chant Sahana Bhavatu. And you're welcome to sing with me or to listen and learn. We also have the chanting cards on our website now, so you can see them and download them from there. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai Sahana bhavatu, sahana bhunaktu, saviryam karavavaye, tejasvinavaditamastu, ma vidvishavaye. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Please open your eyes. And from where you're sitting, we're going to practice a short breathing practice to help. I'm going to scooch myself back so I won't run into my computer. We're going to practice a short breathing practice to help you get established even more greatly into your practice. I'm going to switch my glasses. Okay, so please interlace your fingers and take the heels of your hands forward. And inhale, rise up through the full length of your spine. Exhale, twist to your right and blow out like a straw. Inhale, come up to center, clasp the hands. Exhale, left. Inhale to center, clasp the hands. To the right. Center. Left. Center. Now with the arms up in the center position, keep your hands clasped and exhale, bring your head forward and down. Take your hands and elbows wide behind you. Keep the hands clasped but stretch the elbows apart. And feel the sort of heat or fire of the upper back between your shoulder blades. Okay, now we're going to inhale through the nose, look up, reach up through the heels of your hands. Exhale through the nose, bring your hands down, bow your head forward. Inhale, gaze up, reach up. Exhale, gaze down, hands behind your head. Do not touch the head, you're not pushing it forward. Inhale to go up. One more, exhale to come down. Last time, inhale to go up. Now, like a big sky circle, exhale. And then let your body relax to receive the next inhale. Okay, very nice. Excuse me, please come up to standing. And Susie, you can go to my phone camera, please. When you come up to standing, I'd like you to take a blanket roll. Let me just check this here. Oh yeah, thanks, Susie. Great. Oh, sorry. A little touch is so sensitive. So I'm going to ask you to take a blanket roll to stand on. So if you take the blanket like this and you unfold it, then you're going to roll it and roll it snugly. And stand over your blanket roll with your 2 feet like this. So you're actually standing almost like a bird standing on a little dowel. You see where my feet are? And they can rock. So I'm standing in the center right now with the feet, which means I have to keep my balance. Okay, so inhale, clasp the hands, raise them up overhead. And then exhale, lift your chest and your heart, keep your balance. Sweep the arms wide. Clasp your hands, inhale to begin here. Arms forward, lift your heart but keep your gaze forward. And then exhale, lift your gaze, open the heart, open the arms, keeping your balance. From your feet to your pelvis to your belly. Clasp the hands. Again, inhale. And then exhale, sweep the sky above you wide and open, gaze up, and try keeping your balance on the blanket so that neither the toes nor the heels are on the floor. Okay, one more time. Inhale. And then exhale, going wide. With the arms, look up. Join your hands together. Bring your toes to the floor in front of the blanket roll. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. This is going to be one of your easier chair poses. Exhale, bend your knees and sit back. So you have the heels elevated by the blanket. Means that chair pose could go a little bit deeper. So exhale to come down. And then inhale to go up, reach up, look up, sweep the arms wide. Easier to keep your balance because your toes are on the floor. And inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, gaze forward. Exhale, a deep seat for your chair pose. Inhale to go up and to look up. Exhale, open the arms wide. Easier for your balance here, right? But keep the tailbone grounded. And then inhale, raise the arms, look forward. And exhale, bend your knees, chair pose. Last time, inhale to go up and to look up while keeping your balance. Root the tailbone. Exhale, the arms wide, little standing back bend. And then inhale your hands to your heart. Now step behind the blanket so your toes are on there. You can see that there, toes on the blanket, but the heels on the floor. This may be the time where you need your yoga blocks. Come forward and down. If you'd like to use blocks for your hamstrings to feel more supported, go ahead and put blocks under your hands. If you're comfortable using the floor, you can do that. So of course, these are your calf muscles, and you heard me say, I'm going to work with your neck and shoulders today. And we will be. But here in this pose, when you inhale now, glide your heart forward. Reach forward through the crown of your skull. And when you exhale and you bow towards your legs, try resisting the urge to push your chin towards your legs and let the heart go forward first. And then inhale, glide forward again like a curtain coming off of a window in a breeze. And then exhale, and when you go towards the legs, really resist the urge to overuse your face, your chin, your nose, or your eyes to go towards the legs. Once more, inhale, glide forward. And exhale to bow towards the legs. Keep the base of your skull lifted. You almost are resisting moving the head towards your legs, so the heart gets to be first. Enjoy the breath deep inside with your heels and your toes energized, the leg muscles stabilizing you from the ground up. And then please shift your hands to your hips. And as you rise up to standing, come up and step backwards from your blanket roll. And just take mountain pose for a moment. And now notice what it's like from your arches to your pelvic floor, to the pelvic floor diaphragm, to the diaphragm, and even up into the upper palate and the throat diaphragm. What's happening from the arches of your feet up this pathway. Now I'm going to ask you to be adventuresome today because I know who you are in class. And let's please put this blanket roll at the front of the mat, like this, and the blocks in front of, so this is for Surya Namaskar. So in the first go through here, you're going to step forward. I see that you're going to lose my feet in the video, so I'll pull back slightly. Step forward so that your toes are on the floor and your heels are on the blanket. That's going to be for your chair pose, right? Okay, inhale the hands to the heart, onto the mudra. And here is your Surya Namaskar for today with a couple variations. Inhale down, wide, and up. Let's pause right here and try to sense from the arches of your feet to the pelvic floor, to your diaphragm, the part that breathes you, to the upper palate diaphragm. What is the line of energy moving through your body right there? And then when you exhale, sit down to chair pose and try to maintain a relationship from the arches of your feet to your pelvic floor, the diaphragm, which is broad on the back, not just coming down to inhale, but broadening on the back side. And then your upper palate, your throat diaphragm. Okay, with your inhale, press down to go up and look up, keeping that line of energy smooth from your arches to your throat. And then exhale, sweep the arms wide, bow forward and touch the two blocks here. Inhale, glide your heart forward. Now place your right foot on the center of the blanket, so neither heel nor toes are touching the floor, and step your left toes back. And then as you stabilize, press down to rise up. So here's your crescent lunge. Yes, with your right foot on a blanket roll. So steady your gaze. Maybe your eyes are forward. Could also be forward and closed. You could be inward. And try to sense the arches of your feet. They are informing your legs, the pelvic floor. And that 3 diaphragm system, pelvic diaphragm, mid diaphragm for breathing, and then the throat diaphragm. When you exhale, sweep your arms wide, come slowly forward without any sense of urgency. Touch the two blocks. Please bring your left foot up onto the blanket roll. Take your right toes back. Move down through your right toes and inhale to come up. Yes, beautiful, very good. You can spread the toes of the left foot a little bit like a bird that doesn't need to hold on to the dowel. And you may choose to gaze forward steadily or to have your eyes closed and your attention inward. And try to sense how you're lining up these sort of neurological juicy spots in the body, your arches and the 3 diaphragms. When you exhale now, sweep the arms wide. Come over to touch the 2 blocks. And keeping the blanket where it is, it won't be in your way. Step backwards with your hands on your blocks for downward dog pose. Then inhale, please come forward to plank pose. It'll be a brief plank pose. You're going to exhale and reach backwards to downward facing dog pose. Inhale, glide forward. Notice how the arches of your feet participate in this transition. Exhale, glide back, downward facing dog. Inhale, glide forward to stay a short while in plank pose, as if you've tipped your mountain pose to be kind of horizontal to the floor. Check in with your arches, inner thighs, pelvic floor, your breathing diaphragm, including the back side of the diaphragm, and then the upper palate, the back of the throat. And then reach high into your downward facing dog pose. And with your exhale, step your right foot forward so that your foot comes back to the blanket roll. Then step your left foot forward so you're standing on your blanket roll like a bird on a dowel with the toes stretched forward. Now rooting down, inhale to rise up to upward hands pose. Do your best to work with your balance there. And then exhale, return your hands to your heart in Anjali Mudra. Okay, now we're going to add Cobra pose to the sequence. So inhale, sweep the arms up. The exhale, chair pose while the toes stretch forward from the blanket roll. So you're balancing in your chair pose. Some of you are working on balance muscles right now. Others may have an easier time balancing. With your inhale, push down to rise up, upward hands pose. And then exhale, sweep the arms wide. Now tone your arches, your inner thighs. Let the torso cascade forward and down. Then inhale, glide forward. Keep your right foot where it is. Step your left toes back. Inhale, rise up to your crescent lunge. Now, keeping your right knee shining straight on, rotate open to warrior two. Yeah, good. Now you are probably more balanced in warrior two because the back heel went down. So this is a nice time to close the eyes and then to really sense from your left arch to the upper inner left thigh to the pelvic floor, right arch to the right sitting bone to your pelvic floor. And then the breathing diaphragm, and these three diaphragms lined up. Turn your right hand skyward. Inhale, reach up through your right arm. And then let's exhale and very slowly windmill the arms over so that your right hand finds the block, the left hand comes to its block. Pivot your left heel up and step forward. 2 feet on the blanket roll like a bird on a dowel, but not clutching for the blanket roll with the toes. Let's take the right toes back. Root down to rise up. And then open to warrior two. And in this warrior two, lift the arch of your right foot. Tone the upper inner right thigh. Connect from your left arch to your left hip and sitting bone. Notice how the pelvis it can on its own align itself when you sense from the arches to the pelvic floor. Then you sense this mid-torso diaphragm. And then the upper palate, the throat. Let's go up with the left arm. Enjoy your body's process of opening and awakening. And when you next exhale, start windmilling the arms over. Go slowly. Your left hand can find its block. The right hand finds its block. And step backwards, please, to downward dog pose. Come forward to plank pose. And then noticing that blanket roll there, I'm going to have you come down, touch your knees, bend your elbows, and place your belly button on the blanket roll. Then take the arms forward to make a little pillow for the head. So there you are with your belly on the blanket roll. Yes, that is your belly button. And yes, you might feel your heartbeat. And try to take a few breath cycles where you can sense some permission from you to your belly to be in this position. Like I said, you made a lot of small decisions to be here, many little mental forks in the road so that you're here for class. So hello to the belly button. Hello to the inner body. Also, hello to what Cobra Pose is going to feel like with a blanket roll. I promise I'm not trying to torture you. So when you have your forearms down and your head is resting there, yes, you might feel your heartbeat in your abdomen. So now I'm going to ask you to come up to Sphinx pose. So you have your elbows on the floor. You can put the palms together like a prayer, like this. And press down through the tops of your feet and also both legs. Root your tailbone. And then as you press into the elbows, lift your heart so that the heart and collarbones come up for the back bend. It should feel like the blanket roll is not so poking into the abdomen right now, especially if you lengthen your tailbone down towards your pubic bone. The low belly may tone and take some pressure off of the blanket roll. You lift your heart. And keeping that basic structure, place your right palm flat down. Take your left hand to your left block. Take the right hand to the right block. Circle your shoulders around your heart and come into a variation on Cobra Pose. So the heart rises up here. Shoulders can go back. Please lengthen your neck so it's free, but don't lift into your cobra with your chin. Okay, and then exhale and roll down. Place your left forearm down, right forearm down, and your head down. So all three diaphragms are important in our physical and mental health. And the diaphragm that you're resting on right now, the belly diaphragm, might not feel that comfortable at the moment. We are trying to release tension there. So we're going to repeat that process to get to Cobra Pose. So come up to Sphinx Pose. You're on your elbows, palms together. Press into both elbows. Root down with the tops of your feet, the tops of your shins, your kneecaps, your thighs, and then lengthen your tailbone towards your pubic bone. And the low belly may have just a slight lift off of the blanket or the feeling of less pressure on the blanket. Okay, lift your heart and then place your left palm flat down. Take your right hand to your block, left hand to your block. Circle the shoulders and roll up towards Cobra Pose. Yes, press down with both hands against your blocks. Lift your heart. Right now, please don't lift the chin. Let the heart be primary. Shoulders go back. And then press into both blocks with your hands. Straighten your arms. And reach backwards towards Child's Pose, but please have the head rest only between your upper arms. And you can keep your hands on your blocks. So with your head hovering between your upper arms, it means it's not going to the floor. Lift from the back of your skull, the base of your skull, and lengthen through the crown of your skull. And notice again all three diaphragms, pelvic floor, mid-torso, upper palate, and throat. And then inhale, roll yourself up to a cat pose with both hands on the blocks. Bring your heart forward, curl your toes under, plank pose, and then downward facing dog pose. Now we're going to step forward to Uttanasana. Put the toes on the blanket and the heels on the floor behind the blanket and come into your Uttanasana and just try to see how does Uttanasana feel now in terms of your calves, having released the diaphragm in the mid-torso. And then shift your hands to your hips and rise up to standing. Step backwards and come into mountain pose. So your calves might have felt differently there because there's a relationship in the fight-flight pattern of the nervous system between the diaphragm, the psoas, and the calves. So it's possible that when you were in uttanasana with your toes elevated, your calves actually felt like a little bit more easeful. Okay, good. Now I'd like you to have a chair, so you can bring that onto your yoga mat. I'll put mine as a profile so you can see that more easily. A little blanket roll can stay rolled up, but can be put aside. Just take a seat on the front edge of your chair. Okay, reach back and hold the two legs of the chair like this. Now I'm going to ask you to shrug your shoulders up, take them back, and actively bend your elbows. Even if you don't have long arms, please bend the elbows and slide your shoulders back. So the shoulders are harder to move than the elbows are. So make a deliberate effort at the shoulder joints themselves, and then tip your chin down. So you can imagine that this posture that you're doing right here is similar to what you would do in the upper body for shoulder stand or for bridge pose. Squeeze the shoulders back. Lift your chest and heart on the inside. And breathe deeply in through your nose down to your pelvis. And then out from the pelvis, up through the exit pathway of the nose. And then release both arms, let them dangle, bring your head upright. And watch the possibility that the inner body can become really still. So all three diaphragms lined up. From the pelvic floor to your upper palate. Now take your hands back between the legs and arms of the chair so that your fingers, my fingers, are pointing backwards. You don't have to put your palms flat on the chair, but you could if you want to. Roll the shoulders back. Lift up through your heart. Lift your collarbones. Perhaps you'll also lift your gaze. You might open the throat. And for lots of us, this opening of the throat is actually a significant thing right now. So we're going to use lion's breath when we're here. So let's inhale through the nose. And then stick the tongue way out and make a sound. Inhale through the nose. Again. And then float your head up and gaze forward. Release both arms, let them dangle again. And try to sit yourself in each of those diaphragms so there's a circumferential and centering experience. Good, and I'm going to ask you to come up to standing and to take your blanket roll. You're going to be using this blanket roll for your knees in front of your chair, like this. So I think you guys have heard me say that when you put a blanket under the knees, and we're going to be mimicking a kind of child's pose thing for the pelvis here, The blanket roll under the knees means that for some of us, and I'm one of those people, the hips will stay in touch with the heels better, rather than going forward to child's pose and feeling like the butt's going to pick up. We're not going all the way down to child's pose, but I do want you to keep the back of the sacrum and the back of the diaphragm broad right here. So let's take these two blocks now on the chair. Push them forward. You're going to be using them in a few moments. I'm going to pull my sleeves back. We will put the elbows on the surface of the chair there, so if you want that to be padded, you could add something to it. Otherwise, you can go elbow, elbow, like you're praying. Rest your head between your elbows. Hopefully your head can gently touch the chair seat. Now, as the hips descend towards your heels, start bringing your breath into the back of your waist more noticeably. And then reserve some of the inhale to also come up into the back of your heart. So you have to do what I call advanced planning. So you don't have the inhale finished before you get to the upper back or the shoulder blades. Try to sense the beauty of just having the time right now to breathe and to nourish your body from the inside. And then please release by walking your elbows back off of the chair seat. Pause there. Slide your blanket roll a little bit further back. We're going to be using table pose now instead of child's pose. So you can watch here. I put my knees up on the blanket, and then the kneecaps are forward of the blanket, which means for those of you who've had a knee replacement, you're not putting pressure directly on the kneecap. One block goes between the hands, like this. So in this position, we have the knees slightly forward of that blanket roll, so there's not pressure directly on the kneecaps. Place your elbows on the chair seat. The block goes between your hands. And try to sense again that the breath has time. Advanced planning. So you've got the pelvic region for the breath, your back, waist, and diaphragm, and then the back of your heart and shoulder blades. And as you work into that process with the breath, take your time. You are unwinding deep neurological tension and creating the possibility of vitality and resolution. So don't think too much, how are my muscles and bones doing only, but also what's happening in the inner energetics of this practice right now. And then you can look forward and place your block so it's not going to be in your hands. Walk your hands back and come to kneeling and notice what's happening in the region of the upper body, neck, and shoulders. Now, since I can't see everybody's experience with what kind of chair you have and so on and so forth, I'm going to ask you to take one block to be sitting on in front of your chair. You're going to take a blanket to pad the chair, and you're going to be really thoughtful about your own experience of this because, like I said, you have different chairs from each other and different from me. So that's me padding my chair. And then you have a block here also for the head. So that's what the two blocks are for. You can watch. I'm going to sit here on my little bench. And when you sit on this, you want to be able to have the upper back at the edge of the chair. And then the next block is for the head. Okay, and you can see that my arms will go overhead, and I am able to hold the upper back of the chair with both hands. So this is like, I would say, a beginning position. And for some of you, if you watch, some of you will have more flexibility, so this block for the head can go down. And some have more length and more flexibility. I have the flexibility but not the length. You could touch the hips down on a lower setting as well. And the distance between your arms and the chair, you don't have a big chair, you have long arms. So when you're holding the chair, for everyone, please bend the elbows and bring them in towards the center line of your pose. And yes, we are going to hang out here. We're actually just hanging out. We're not hanging, actually. We're just abiding. So we say we're abiding in the experience. So pay close attention to what can happen with the breath now. And where you need to give extra kindness or patience or deliberateness with the breath. Remember to keep the elbows moving in slightly towards each other. They don't need to be closer than shoulder width, but I don't want your elbows to be flying apart. And one more time, breathing in. Let's see what happens now if you straighten the arms and they go past the upper back of your chair. And that might be different person to person based on your chairs, but are you able to do that? And what is the experience of the breath? So whether you can bend backwards like a paper clip or like a U-turn, if you can't breathe, it won't be so helpful to you. And then you're going to be lifting to go forward and up. We are currently sitting on a block of some kind. So now put your left hand across both knees. Reach the right hand around to twist to hold the back of your chair. And check and see here what it feels like for those 3 diaphragms to now collaborate with your inhalation and your exhalation. And then let's rotate around to face forward. Cross your right forearm over, and you're going to hold both knees, and the left arm comes around. And you're twisting to your left. Yeah. It's possible that you don't twist equally in each direction, that you have a limited side and an easier side. So try not to exploit the easy side. And try not to be irritated with the more difficult side. And then rotate that one around to center also. Okay, here you are getting ready now for resting and integrating. So let's put this block aside. Put this block aside. I'll put them where you won't be in your view of my pose. And let's take this blanket. Now here's a really cool thing you can do. That's the beginning of a dangerous sentence for a yoga teacher. Here's a really cool thing you can do, but maybe you'll try it out. So, and it's not super hard, but it is kind of interesting. If you roll this back up and you roll it snugly, you're going to place this so that you're going to rest on the blanket roll with the legs elevated. So the shoulders will get to cascade down towards the floor. So you then sit on it and you take your legs up like this. So yes, the sacrum is on the blanket roll, mid-back, upper back, and head all on the blanket roll. Yep. And for those of us, I know some of you are here, where if you lay on the floor and you put your legs up on the chair, it feels like the knees don't quite reach. So I'm one of those people. Now having a blanket roll under the sacrum, the legs easily reach the chair. The knees feel no sense of discomfort to have to reach towards the chair. And take the arms out to the side, palms face up. You have this magical time now, really such important time to let this integrate, like the new neurological, physiological. You've done your housekeeping. You've cleaned the dust from the mirrors. So let your body rest really deeply. So you can imagine right between the eyebrows this deep kind of permission for softening, or what we call melting. And the eyes themselves can rest back in their sockets. Invite the muscles of your face, particularly your cheeks, to kind of drape over the bones of your face in a deeply relaxed way. You can loosen the lower jaw from the upper jaw. And then imagine from the roof of the mouth, the upper palate, into the back of the throat, the place where you sense your ujjayi when you're practicing that. Also the place where you sing the sound of Om from. Imagine that whole region and into the throat where the voice box is, pharynx and larynx, like really deeply relaxed. Tremendous quality of surrender. And invite the heart to be at ease, so the organ of the heart, but also the energetic center of your heart. And then really important down into the diaphragm, this primary breathing muscle, which is collaborating with the upper and lower diaphragms in the body. Allow this to be beautifully easeful and relaxed. And then take that ease and beauty and travel down through the abdomen to your pelvic floor, the other diaphragm in the body. Just welcome in your own way the possibility of really deep ease. You have worked areas of the body in this practice. Invite there to be resolution and ease. enhanced communication from all the parts of your body involved in this practice. Visualize becoming even more deeply beautiful, relaxed, at ease. Invite yourself to rest, to have resolution with old patterns in the body. The revitalization of new understandings. Now, keeping some inner awareness of yourself and your body, please turn your head as far as it comfortably goes to your right. If you're on the blanket roll, allow your head, when you turn right, to drop a little bit down towards the floor. Notice the left side of your neck. And then roll your head to center and go as comfortably far as you can to your left. Allow your head to slide a little bit off the blanket roll. Stretch the right side of your neck. And roll your head to center. Staying on your blanket roll, slide your feet to the front of the chair and try utkatasana for a few moments. Notice how the three diaphragms now communicate. And then fold your knees to center and roll to your right. You're going to come off of your blanket roll. And let's use both hands to come up to sitting and take a seat on your blanket. And some of you will sit in siddhasana. That's my personal preference. But others might sit cross-legged and take the two blocks to put under your knees, one under each knee. When you come up to sit, try to sense now what is happening with those 3 diaphragms. What is the inner channel of the body just now? And bring your hands together at your heart. And you may sing with me. Om Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorama Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. Thank you also to my teachers and my teachers' teachers.